I'm Rob Downey, a family practice MD and Institute for Functional Medicine certified practitioner. I'm coming to you from Seaworthy Functional Medicine in Homer, Alaska. Seaworthy exists to help people overcome their health challenges and be fully vital. Hi, Seaworthy community. I am excited today to join you with Joe Rignola. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Hey, Dr. Rob, good to see you. This should be fun.
So many of you know Joe, who is both a friend and a colleague and mission critical support for Seaworthy Functional Medicine and Health Accelerator. He's a visionary and an entrepreneur, the founder of Well Connected TV, and just an all around great guy.
Well, I appreciate that wonderful introduction, Rob. You're too kind. So
So
yeah,
we're going to do some we're going to do some Q&A sessions from time to time. So Joe will educate you in a minute. If you, we'd love to answer your question. And so Joe will talk in a minute about how to put the question to us through social media. So I'll hand that off in just 1 second. But we are service driven in this community, and part of serving you is answering your questions from time to time, which we really enjoy. And it's a way of making sure that we are working where you are, because sometimes what happens with thought leaders and content creators is we sort of drift off into what interests us, and we just make assumptions that the dots connect, and a lot of times they do and sometimes they don't. So this is a great chance to keep it real and stay grounded in what you want to know most.
yeah. Like Dr. Rob said, we're here to serve, and these are always a lot of fun to do, and we do plan on doing more of these in the future. So I think the best way to get questions is to reply to one of Rob's emails if you're on the email list, or head to Seaworthy Functional Medicine on Instagram or YouTube and leave a comment on one of the pieces of content there to get your questions to us for future episodes. So today, Rob, we've got a handful of questions, and I'll sort of moderate and read the questions. And looking forward to the feedback from the audience on these. If you enjoy this, if you get value out of this, it really means a lot to Dr. Rob and me to leave a review and follow us on your favorite podcast platform, whether it be iTunes or Spotify or wherever. So it really helps more than you can imagine to get the word out and to help the podcast grow. So yeah, please leave us a review and follow us. Okay. On to the questions. This first one is a fun one, and maybe I can chime in with some insights as well. Uh, this user says, "I'm curious if there are certain supplements you're sure not to miss each day. What supplements are in your personal must-haves?"
Mm. Hmm.
Curious what your go-to supplements are each day.
Mm. There is some Jungian synchronicity to this question, because I was realizing that my plan is down to about 12 supplements, maybe 15, which is a lot. I'm kind of shooting for 5 to 15 in all of my patients. I really try to not go past 12 to 15, no matter what we're doing.
Mhm.
I've almost considered it a sign of failure to hit more supplements than that. There's a time and a place,
Okay.
but 98% of my patients do extremely well at between 3 and 15 supplements. And the majority of them, their maintenance supplement plan is 3 to 5 supplements, maybe 8 if they have a lot of complexity. So there's some interesting numbers.
And I think what they're alluding to here is like you personally, like
I
which.
know, I know I'm going to answer that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, no, I just kind of wanted to set the stage, because I am so concerned actually about the number of supplements, and I'm really concerned about shotgunning with supplements. So I will answer what I take and why. But I also wanted people to know, people do people have heard this so frequently in the podcast. I'm sure they know this about me unless they're new, but I got very depleted. I got very, very depleted due to my medical career itself. And so I think some of that depletion I don't ever expect to fully recover from per se, but by taking great care of myself, I'm what Dr. Jeff Bland, the father of functional medicine, would call the canary in the coal mine, and that I can function optimally and it looks like it's all going really well, but it requires impeccable self care and some really specific supplements. So I take a multivitamin every day from Innate Response, the men's 55 plus, and I like it because it's all naturally sourced and just a great product, great company. I'm a fan of theirs. It's okay to mention products, right, Joe?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I have been, let's see, there's a couple of workhorse supplements I can't take. That's worth noting as well. I developed a stress gastritis during my
Okay.
career, a stress-induced inflammation of the stomach, which I've never got an ulcer when things are at their worst.
Wow.
And so
Okay.
I've never tolerated turmeric or curcumin.
Hmm.
And so there's a top five supplement of the five most important supplements ever that I can't take because it always upsets my stomach.
Wow. Okay.
And then I switched to ginger, which I think people should know about. I take one ginger capsule twice a day from Nature's Way, which is really inexpensive. And ginger is under-recognized as an anti-inflammatory. And it's great for people with chronic unhappy stomach because it soothes the stomach.
Exactly. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then I take vitamin C twice a day. And people who know me know I'm a fan of acid buffered vitamin C. Same issue because of the acidity. I don't
Sure.
like taxing the stomach with the acidity of C, which I see as unnecessary. So I take a Vital Nutrients buffered C, which is dirt cheap, 220 capsules for 15 bucks or something like that. One buffered C capsule twice a day,
And how many is that? 1,000 milligrams?
500 milligrams.
Perfect.
Yeah, 500 milligrams of C twice a day. The therapeutic dose is 1.5 grams twice a day. Back off if loose stools or upset stomach. But again, I'm really looking for a maintenance plan. C is adrenal support, immune support, COVID protective, antioxidant, and it recharges the anti-inflammatory pathways in the watery compartment of the body. So it's actually on the top three list of most important supplements ever, according to Dr. Bland. Dr. Bland says if you only had to take three supplements, you would take a multi, a probiotic, and vitamin C. So that's interesting.
Cool.
Then triple mag from, again, Vital Nutrients or Tri-Magnesium from Integrative Therapeutics, one capsule twice a day, since magnesium makes the top five list of most important supplements ever for mitochondrial support, mood, restorative sleep, stress management. Then my new anti-inflammatory, since I couldn't have my beloved curcumin, is Boswellia,
Okay.
which the lay term is frankincense.
I didn't know that. I never knew that that was Boswellia was frankincense.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. So that's really fun. Boswellia is really easy on the stomach. And my product is from, I think it's from Pure Encapsulations. There's a bunch of good ones out there. I don't know the milligram dose, but that's one capsule 3 times a day as needed. A lot of people think of it as herbal ibuprofen. I just take it twice a day to improve my workout recovery. And I just have a lot of the aches and pains that many of us 57-year-olds have. And I have fewer of them. And I'm quenching my silent inflammation with Boswellia twice a day. So I love that. I've got omega-3 fatty acid as fish oil, 3 capsules every 24 hours. And I use the Omegagenic 720 so that I get to that 2,000 milligrams total of EPA plus DHA every 24 hours, which is anti-inflammatory dosing. I do that all in the morning, but it could be split dosing just depending on my pill organizer.
Okay.
And then I do 25 milligrams of DHEA every morning because I'm indebted to that's the depletion part because Jill Valerius, my functional medicine doctor up in Palmer, realized my DHA was low. And that's
Okay.
a depletion issue. And it's a precursor to testosterone. 25 milligrams, a very safe for men. Probably better to stick to 10 milligrams or less for women, just some kind of milligrams to think about there. I found that's really good for muscle mass, etc. And that, oh, zinc carnosine, because zinc is immune protective, sorry, immune and COVID protective, but zinc carnosine also part of it doesn't enter the body. It traverses the gut and restores gut barrier integrity. So I'm a huge fan of zinc carnosine, as you know, one in the morning. I take one quercetin from Thorne daily called phytosomal because quercetin has its superpower is COVID protection.
Yeah. I
And
take this.
its mechanism as a shield against COVID is cannot be overstated. How, uh, but it's got terrible bioavailability. So there's some good professional grade products that still don't have great bioavailability. So a phytosomal or other bioavailability delivery packet's really worth investing in quercetin. So I use the Thorn.
Yeah, and does quercetin also help with the absorption of other nutrients as well, like zinc? I know it's supposed to be taken like zinc and quercetin together is supposed to be a pretty good.
Interesting. It sure could.
Hmm.
My mentor, my Bastyr trained naturopathic doctor, Chinese medicine acupuncturist mentor said, one thing you'll love about natural medicine, Rob, is that good things do many good things.
Mm-hmm.
And she pointed out yarrow. She said when she was
Mm-hmm.
learned about yarrow as a newly minted uh, naturopathic doctor, it did this. And 2 years later, she realized that it helped with insulin sensitization. And 2 years after that, she realized it was such and such. And now she knows 40 things.
Mm-hmm.
You could write a book on everything ginger does. You could write a book on everything garlic does. So yeah. So quercetin is a superstar worth investing in. Then then you get into my evening stuff. So some areas I'm doubling down. I'm taking C at night at a noted dose. I'm taking triple mag at night at the noted dose. I used to take 5-HTP to help serotonin because of kind of a serotonin depletion picture due to all the long-term stress and feeling kind of grumpy, moody, irritable, etc. But I switched to Dopa Boost from Designs for Health after you walked me through that book and you really turned me on to the importance of dopamine. And actually, Tim Hyatt at Precision Analytical says you got to be really careful to support both. But when I tried going back and forth between Dopa Boost and 5-HTP, my body did not like the roller coaster at
Really?
all. And I suspect I'm just chronically, again, depleted. And I just don't, I think I'm kind of a low dopamine person, actually.
Yeah.
And so Dopa Boost from Designs for Health every night.
Okay.
I take vitamin E, 400 IU in the evening because that's the magic dose and it's a really good fat loving brain antioxidant. I take alpha lipoic acid in the evening, which is a precursor to glutathione, 600 milligrams. And it's also COVID protective and it really helps mood and mental brightness because it quenches inflammation in the brain. Alpha lipoic acid is an underutilized supplement.
Yep.
I take NAC as well because I'm a huge believer in COVID protection and having a lot of glutathione. NAC is a precursor to glutathione and it donates a sulfur. I take 500 of NAC at bedtime. I take lavella, the active ingredient of lavender, as needed, but I've finally done so well for so long, I don't need it anymore, which I see as a victory.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
with your zinc and your quercetin, um, and maybe your vitamin C, is that something you take year round, or do you take that more in the colder months when there's maybe a bit more of a viral load?
all the time. But
Okay.
I would say that I'm not somebody that has ever subscribed to the idea of beefing up immune protection during times of vulnerability. And the reason is mechanistically, the things that I take are immune supportive, don't have any reasons to not take every day. But if we contrast that to echinacea,
Right, right, right.
if you look at the German monographs on botanicals, which is another interesting topic, they've done a lot of work on that. And they have a big natural medicine community. They say don't take echinacea all the time because it revs your immune system. And we've talked about immune revving. So
Sure.
echinacea would be the brilliant thing to take when you're vulnerable. You're getting on the plane or you're a little sniffly or in your household full of sniffles or you're going to be in a school full of a bunch of kids with colds. Take it for a while and then stop it. So the ways C and zinc and quercetin support the immune system isn't revving.
Love regulatory.
And so I think the related question would be, is there ever a time in your digital space you don't want your security firewall?
Oh, that's a good point. Very well put.
So I
Yeah.
just think of this as my firewall, and then I add to my firewall an extra dimension. But my firewall works so well, I've never been historically somebody that has to beef it up
Hmm.
as needed. And then when I get sick, I just fall into the abyss, and my whole family teases me that I'm a complete wimp.
Man.
I've never dealt well with a cold, ever. If I could, I literally would not work for 7 days. Every time I had a cold, I feel that miserable. So,
Yeah,
wah.
what it is about us, man. We can't take a cold. Excellent. Well, that was a very thorough answer to that. So good, very good stuff.
Typical, right? We always say we're going to do 20 minutes, and then when I take 15 minutes for one, people think, yeah, right.
Oh, I echo all that. I want to add there's a couple of supplements that I think are worth mentioning. One is Megaspore, which is my favorite probiotic. I also started taking something called BioAval, which has omega-3 curcumin, sorry, and black seed oil as an
Mm-hmm.
anti-inflammatory.
Mm,
That
mm,
is quite a huge difference.
mm,
That's a
mm.
good, really good supplement to take.
Nice. I knew I was forgetting something, so I'm really glad. Thank you for those. Spore-based probiotics, so interesting. We've talked about them before,
Yeah.
but incredibly interesting. Don't want to go on ad nauseum about that, but people can check out a lot of your content to learn more. And then I take a shelf-stable probiotic that's 50 billion units for metabolic maintenance,
Mhm.
and it's nearly $1 a capsule, so it's spendy. But
Yeah.
because it's 50 billion units, I just take it Monday, Wednesday, Friday at bedtime,
Mhm.
which is plenty. And the cool thing is these are such fascinating, these bacteria must essentially be like seeds that they
Mhm.
have a way to stay alive when they're not getting any attention. Because 2 years later, without refrigeration, there's 50 billion living organisms there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Really cool. All right. Um, since I think we've got a few more minutes,
Yeah.
there's a couple of questions here that are related, so I'm going to combine them, and they're related to fatigue. So one of them is I've been dealing with chronic fatigue for several years. I do feel like I already get good sleep. Are there any other dietary, lifestyle, or supplemental recommendations to help restore energy levels? And the related one is, could my fatigue be related to hormonal imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, or chronic stress um, related to menopause or
Mm.
perimenopause?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's do that one in a targeted fashion. The supplements that help energy, one key domain is mitochondrial support. Nobody that knows me will be surprised to hear me say this. And because I just interviewed an energy expert today, Evan Hirsch, Dr. Evan Hirsch, then the premise is just that these beautiful little power plants of our cells, the mitochondria, they're just taxed by contemporary living and modern existence. And if we just give the mitochondria support and we protect them from being taxed, they do really well. Orthomolecular Products has one of the most brilliant development teams of any professional grade company. And they have a product called Mitocore, 2 capsules twice a day. And a lot of my patients now who are depleted, I just put them on Mitocore. And so that's under favorites and in full script. And they get a boost right away. And then magnesium, one of its superpowers is mitochondrial support, some standalone magnesium. I would say C because of the Dr. Tom O'Brien has pointed out that the adrenal gland has the highest concentrations of vitamin C in the body. So it must be very oxidatively stressed or have some mission critical reason that stress has to be uh, shielded in the adrenals by vitamin C. But vitamin C is really helpful for energy, somewhat neglected there. People don't know it's about its adrenal tonic superpowers. Ashwagandha, superstar for resilience that you don't have to monitor. And then I want many women in menopause aren't heard. They say they or perimenopause, they say they're tired, they don't feel heard by the conventional community. So Dutch plus testing is a great way whether women are or are not interested in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy to look at free cortisol profile, free cortisone profile, total metabolized cortisol, every step of the way from pregnenolone turning into the male hormones, the androgens, progesterone, how it's made and cleared, the 3 estrogens, the good, bad, and proliferative estrogen, and how those leave the body. And so women love doing Dutch plus testing in my practice because they feel like in not a creepy way, but in a good way, they feel like I'm reading their mail because the results characterize who and how they feel. They're being heard, and when they balance their hormones and get good support, a lot of women just absolutely feel horrible in peri and postmenopause, and they're not heard. And it's just that they don't get along with it. And nature doesn't care about us after we procreate. So we have to care about ourselves, because once we've reproduced, we are off the biologic grid.
Yeah.
So, uh, and then those are, yeah, those are probably the biggies.
Yeah, I think, well, the other thing I would add is she mentions, one of the women here says they feel like they already get good sleep, and I would maybe just investigate that a little bit more, or, as far as like sleep hygiene, or is your room black? Do you have
Hmm.
blackout curtains?
Hmm.
Are you looking at your phone 5 minutes before going to bed? Are you going to bed at, midnight after scrolling, TikTok or Instagram?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and it may feel like you're sleeping well. And I know I get into these ruts as well, where it's like I'm up working late, or I'm just doom scrolling. And it's not good to do right before you go to sleep for so many reasons. Just the blue light and the information that you're getting, is not probably going to be favorable to a restful night's sleep. Not to
Hmm.
mention, obviously that blue light is can be devastating for melatonin production.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
look at, what are you doing in the hours before sleep?
Yeah.
And, and I've heard this talked about before. Is like, think about your day starting the night before. Your day
Hmm.
starts with, your sleep hygiene the night before.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
ensure turning off devices, turning off your Wi-Fi if you could, and
Yeah.
not looking at a phone, making sure the room is cool enough, because we tend to sleep better when the room is cooler, keeping the room as dark as possible. I think there was some research done that there was the room was dark except for a nickel-sized light on the person's leg, and it cut their melatonin production pretty dramatically. So making sure the room is dark is, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So if
Wow.
less melatonin production on a nickel-sized light.
Crazy. Wow. Um, yeah, I keep my room really dark. My wife teases me. I keep it as dark as a cave. I cover up even the little
So
indicator lights on devices that stay on at night, like a surge protector on a computer or something like that. And also then, because I did just interview Dr. Evan Hirsch, brilliant person on people getting their energy back. He Now they've segued to people check out this upcoming podcast. Everyone in his program does autonomic retraining,
okay,
autonomic nervous system retraining. So in you and I's parlance, that's a restorative practice: yoga, meditation, heart math, 20 to 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And uh, folks just don't think about that as much as perhaps they could, and Americans tend to assume it's sort of, oh, extra, and it's fundamentally important.
let's try a couple of rapid fire ones related to energy and sleep. Blue blocking glasses. What are your thoughts on that? On blue blocking?
Brilliant.
Great, excellent.
Start in the mid afternoon. Use them with screens. Don't put
Yeah,
them on in the morning because they'll shut you down.
sure. Yeah,
But start mid afternoon, or even get your morning light, get awake, get rocking, and use them
yeah.
with screens all the day if you really want to not have your screens beat you up.
Even
And
middle of the day, do you think, or maybe would you start in like late afternoon?
I'd maybe listen to your body. I mean, there's experts who might disagree with me, but once you've had that pineal dawn, meaning
Mhm.
that cascade has been released by the pineal gland over the first 30 minutes of the day. So that's where the seasonal effective light comes in, or the natural light, or getting outside, or a little exercise, or a little music, or getting your happy place, or whatever. Once that cascade has been released, that for the day, you either do or do not get your pineal cascade. So a bunch of these people who use their happy light all day, yeah, it feels great and it's therapeutic, but the window is that exposure to light, a certain amount of photons hitting the retina at a certain point in the day, then that pineal cascade dawn has actually happened.
Right.
And so I would say some people are so heavily taxed by their screens, they potentially would benefit from blue blocking glasses from their first exposure to screens onward through the rest of the day after they have their pineal cascade, but mid-afternoon at a minimum. And for people that just keep their blue blockers at home, put them on when you come home for dinner so that you're blocking the evening onward.
But I also want to highlight something else you said that maybe has gone unnoticed. Getting some sun exposure in your eyes first thing in the morning
Mhm.
sort of helps set that circadian rhythm as well, right?
Yeah, that's our inner animal.
Yeah,
Breathe some fresh air, look at
even
the sky, have some sunlight
yeah,
hit you.
yeah,
Remember, you're connected to Mother Earth.
exactly, exactly.
Get her blessings.
Yeah, even if when it's 17 degrees out, I still try to go outside at least for a few moments to
Oh, I've been doing my workout outside now.
nice. And you're
Yeah,
hardcore.
I kind of feel like a ninja or a special forces person. Just my shorts and t-shirt. I put on my 25-pound vest and go out and do my push-ups
Make
on
me
the
do that.
deck. What's that?
You're gonna make me do that too now. All right, tomorrow morning I'm gonna bring my kettlebell outside and in the snow.
Right. It's very bracing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Challenge accepted. All right. One last thought, and this is something that I've started to incorporate. Are you familiar with methylene blue? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
Hmm. Nope, I'm not.
Okay. So it's this, it looks like blue dye.
Oh, I
And
mean, I know about it from med school and college biology, but I don't know about any therapeutic
so
utility.
it's been good for energy. Apparently, it sort of aerates the blood cells or I should say oxygenates the blood cells, so it helps them work more efficiently. And also, it's apparently very good for your mitochondria.
Hmm.
Helps sort of feed the mitochondria, and helps with cognitive function and things of that nature. So
Interesting.
I've been sort of testing that out over the past week or so, and been mostly pretty happy with the results. I think the first
Well,
day I did too much, and I was way too excited and almost a little nervous, but titrating up, I think, has been really beneficial. So,
nice.
all right, I think we're going to wrap up on that. I think we got to 3 questions. So I think Rob, we're going to have to make this maybe a monthly thing. I think it's really
Yeah.
folks, and it's a lot of fun to do.
Well, it's probably part of my voice or my brand, for better or worse, that I think this stuff is so interesting. I always, if we get a chance to talk about it, sometimes I think, oh, I may never get to talk about this again.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
just always a part of me that kind of wants to share, I suppose.
yeah.
Make sure I hand it off and pay it forward in case I get taken out by the meteor strike,
There you go.
or the bus or whatever.
Polar bear.
A bear.
You're in Alaska, so
Yeah.
excellent. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Hopefully, people did get a lot of value out there. It felt out of that. It felt good. I think people will enjoy this episode quite a bit, and
Mm,
we promise we will do more of these.
mm.
All right,
Thanks,
Rob.
Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for the Seaworthy podcast. Seaworthy exists to help people overcome their health challenges and be fully vital. If you think we've earned it, please consider giving this podcast a like, subscribing, and giving us a 5-star rating on the platform of your choice. Thanks.